What is up, guys? Here we are with the last chance qualifier for the GameTV Grand Finals. Unfortunately, Sheva is simply unable to make any days that were put forward for the finals. The only day he could make, multiple other players couldn't, so he's going to have to drop out and we're going to have to replace him with someone else. So that is why we are doing this last chance qualifier. My co-host today is Jeffrey. Say hello, Jeffrey.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Jeffrey is, of course, the GOAT of Rivals casting.
You're too kind, buddy.
I don't just mean that he screams.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, that's funny. I like that.
So for our first round today, we have Woify from Cloud Control. I don't know if that's supposed to be pronounced like Wolfie. Not sure. Anyway. And he is taking on my brother, Razor, in his tournament debut. I don't believe Razor has ever played a Rivals tournament before. This should be pretty exciting. And yeah, I think we're pretty much ready to get started. So if you're ready, Jeffrey.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, let's hit it. Here we go. Razor versus Woify. The first round of the GameTV Last Chance Qualifier. I'd also like to mention here that I did manage to secure vanity prizes for this tournament at the last minute. So we are going to have vanity for first and second. So second place is still going to get something. They're going to get a vanity. And then we will have a viewer giveaway vanity as well. Just so everybody knows.
All right, so taking a look at these decks, we got a GDI versus Nod grudge match. We've got a 4 War Factory deck here from Black Razor. He's basically relying on Fanatics and Stealth Tank in that deck. But then he's up against Borka, which is going to be pretty interesting. Razorback and Borka is going to be pretty decent against what Black Razor's brought. But, you know, I mean, Fanatics and Stealth Tank can pretty much remove any air unit on the field. So it's going to come down to micro for the most part. Both decks aren't really necessarily a direct counter to each other, so it should be a good match.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think the more I play this match, the more I think the Stealth Tank Fanatic is favored against the Razorback missile. But it comes down to map a lot of the time. And this is a 2-pad map with the missile in the middle. The air unit has more mobility. There's a couple of rocks to hide behind, but they're not that well positioned, being quite far back. So yeah, it's hard to say how this one's going to go. Could go either way.
I agree. Well, starting off here, we've got this Pitbull trying to get rid of these Fanatics, but of course, Woify not having enough money in the bank can't go to Razorback, which is really what he needs to tech into here. But instead, he's just going to lose the pads to these Scorpion Tanks. Of course, Scorpion Tank is a great counter to Pitbull here. It's going to clear it on that bottom pad. That Scorpion Tank is going to move around the top. He's got both pads, so Black Razor's feeling very comfortable and just going to start tickling that Harvester, and he also takes the first missile.
Yeah, you know he's feeling extremely comfortable when he's sending one of his tanks over to the Harvester. Because if he needs that tank on a pad all of a sudden, it's a big cost to not have it available. So he must be very confident that he's going to win that missile if he goes to start harassing the half. And yeah, as you said, Woify not getting that Razorback out early was a big punish. I think you really need to go missiles Razorback against Nod first missile. You can't go Pitbull. That just doesn't work.
Yeah, and as we saw there, like as soon as the tank started rolling out, it was very easy for Black Razor to control the map, and of course, only being a 2-pad map made it a lot easier for him to take them as well. So yeah, I agree. The Razorback was really important here, but now we're seeing it come out in the numbers. But of course, the Stealth Tanks are a great counter to Razorback, especially with his lower movement speed. The Stealth Tank can catch it pretty reliably, especially if the Fanatic boost gets off on it, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. And here we go. Another one's about to go down. An unfortunate value loss there for Woify. He's not really gaining enough value out of his units. Maybe this Borka will call him back though.
Yeah, I mean, the Borka is obviously a big comeback mechanic. Razor's tanks are both reloading. Oh, Woify with the massive misfire there. Razor immediately moves in with Stealth Tanks to punish. It doesn't actually catch it. Bit of a misstep there from Razor. He could have caught that Borka. Looks like he's going to get it anyway. And with that, he's very securely takes these 3 pads. 3 units on each pad. Wow.
Yeah, very dominant game from Black Razor. Good start to his tournament debut, that's for sure.
Here we go, guys. Game 2, Razor versus Woify. Woify has switched into Oksana now, so we're going to see a Nod Mirror. And we're on Lone Spire this time.
Yeah, we see Woify making a change over to Nod from GDI, so let's have a look at the deck. And, well, a big change as well. He's running Infernos with Marauders and Flames. I'm a little surprised not to see Fanatics in here. I think Fanatics would be just better over the Flame Troopers, but overall it's a decent deck. However, I still think with Fanatics in his belt, Black Razor still has an edge in this match. I think it might have been a match switch here for Woify.
I agree. Like you say, I think Fanatics just outclass Flamers so hard that there's just almost no reason to play Flamers in the current metagame. You should just play Fanatics. Interestingly, Woify goes for a bike rush, and Razor, seeing it, simply doesn't make a harvester. Wow, now he goes for the harvester. This is an interesting choice to go harvester with 2 bikes versus 3. I have to see if Woify can punish him for this play.
Yeah, of course, going without a harvester means that Wifey's got the advantage for PopCap, so he should be able to secure this first missile. But let's have a look at the micro here from Black Razor. He's actually not doing too bad of a job here maintaining his bikes. He's not getting any pressure on his harvester, that's good as well. But of course, Wifey with all 3 pads looks like he's going to comfortably take the first missile, which, again, not very unexpected here without a harvester. But now, this is where things are going to get pretty difficult as the economy begins to ramp up. Black Razor's got his economy going. He should be able to overcome the game at this point.
Yeah, that's exactly it. If you play no harvester and you lose first missile, you're completely done. Like, there's just no way back for you. First missile is when the economy hasn't made that much of a difference. You're not that far behind in money, and also the pop cap is a big deal. So if you know halving first missile, you should basically always win it. But now this is when it gets dicey, because now Woify's made his harvester, but now he loses map control because he has no money. And this is where Razor needs to punish him. I actually think Razor is making a big misplay here by not simply making Scorpion tanks. The fact he switched into lasers, I think, was a big misplay. He should have just made Scorpion tanks. His opponent was only making War Factory units. Scorpions would have dominated this and would have given him the pressure to take down that harvester. Now you see a stealth tank. This is not anywhere near as good. It takes a very long time for the stealth tank to reload. He didn't even fire the volley because he realized he needed to move the stealth tank in combat. So yeah, I think Razor definitely was unsure what to do in that spot and did not make the right decisions.
100%, and we see it. Well, it's sort of paying off here. Black Razor is on all 3 of the pads. We've got that stealthing on the top left, and then a single bike on the far right. This should be enough to secure him the victory. But you make a really good point, Blade, about the fact that tank would have been a better choice. The fact is, he just didn't have the money to go into his infantry, so there's no reason to build lasers.
Yep, that's exactly it. Like the lasers are a cheap way to fight bikes, but when you have harvester against no harvester, you don't need cheap. You just need powerful.
Yep.
The tank would have been much better. So although Razor takes that missile pretty comfortably, we're now in a spot where Woify is playing the game, right? Whereas after going no hard first missile, the harvester player should be able to just simply force the opponent off the map entirely, because when they make their harvester, they have no map presence, and you should be able to punish that. But Black Razor didn't do that, so now Woify gets to continue playing Rivals, where he should just be dead.
So unfortunate misstep there from Black Razor, firing onto the wheels instead of the oncoming stealth tank. He didn't lose it though, so he's going to be able to get it reloaded here. These Fanatics coming out as well should be able to block, but now he needs to take these pads. Inferno's going to come onto the bottom pad with the bikes on the left. He's going to, actually, no, he's not going to be able to stall here, but will he get it? No, nice drill pod there from Black Razor to make sure he takes that middle pad, and that secures the victory and the 3rd missile for him.
Yeah, and Black Razor looked fairly dominant in that game. Obviously lost the first missile, didn't have the pop cap. Chose to go into that harvester when he felt he was reasonably safe. Yeah, nicely played. Like I said, the only misstep I think Razor really made there was when the opponent has a bunch of bikes and you have a harvester and they don't, make tank, man. There's no way he's beating a tank.
100%.
Yeah. All right, guys, here we go. We're having a little additional feature match here. This is the 3rd game between Princess of Doom and CockyMe. This is the last game of round 1, so I just thought we'd show this as well. And we've got Jade taking on Oksana. So this actually is one of the worst Jade maps in the game. Well, okay, maybe that's not correct. The base kill is almost impossible on this map because there's only one tile where you can get the 2 hits, and you have to get right past their spawn point to do it. But you do have these Tiberian patches near pad, so you can nuke those, and that's okay. But it's not great. So yeah, I think this is not. I think the Jade base kill is really all that Jade is great for. So the fact that Jade base kill is not good on this map makes it a lot weaker.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I can say, though, other than that, is, you know, in terms of the decks here, we got Chem Warriors versus Fanatics, and Chems do a pretty good job of dealing with Fanatics, especially because that's really all Princess Doom has to deal with them. So these Chem Warriors should be pretty impactful throughout this match, and that might be the reason why that I can even come ahead out here, but we'll see how this plays out. We got this first missile coming down. Of course, Princess Doom is going into her War Factory, now finally going into her Hand of Nod. She's pulled out these lasers. She's trying to pop cap her opponent here, but it's not going to be enough. We got CockyMe on here, all 3 pads. His Fanatics are going to be a little bit too late here on the bottom left, and they won't make it, and there it is. So first missile does go to him, and nicely played.
Yeah, I'm a little bit interested. I'm interested to know what the matchup looked like before this, because CockyMe is someone I've played on ladder a bunch, and I think he always plays this deck, basically. Like, I've never seen him play a different deck than this. And Princess of Doom has brought a deck that's not very good against it. Like, you don't really want to play Nod versus laser drones, and you don't really want to play Fanatics versus Chems. So I'm interested to know if they've brought the same decks over and over, because if they have, then Princess of Doom is making a big mistake.
Yeah, I do see, like, Princess of Doom plays this deck quite a lot, and I think this is actually the classic list from Agent, where he runs Shade. But generally speaking, yeah, I see her play this deck a lot, and unfortunate for her, we got the second missile coming down, and, you know, she's really struggling to get onto these pads. Lasers are finally deal with those laser zones on the bottom pad. Stealth Tank moving in behind, does get taken down by that loaded Stealth Tank, and that's a very unfortunate loss there for Princess of Doom. And CockyMe looking pretty good here. He needs to get onto that far left pad. He's moving the laser drones over. Bikes will get into position, but not before the laser drones do, so laser drones are going to be able to win that matchup. However, two bikes survive, and she moves them down to the bottom pad to take care of the buggy, and this flipping of these units is working out so far, but these wheels are going to go down to the laser drones. That means that CockyMe is going to flip this missile, and oh, wait a minute, Stealth Tank comes out just at the last second to take care of those laser drones, and never mind, Princess of Doom flips it in her direction. Well played.
Yeah, the swap was super risky there because it got the missile so close to charge, and Princess of Doom lost those wheels almost immediately. Yeah, she barely takes down the laser drones in time to stall out the missile, and then cleans up bottom pad and flips it. Now CockyMe is going to make multiple Chem Troopers. This is a great strategy against the Fnatic deck. The Fnatic deck really struggles to get rid of Chem Troopers. Like, you need to have two Fnatics in position before the Chem Troopers arrive. Otherwise, you have to do what Princess of Doom is doing here, which is two Fnatics plus a boost, and you still end up trading pretty much both your Fnatic squads.
Yeah, as we see here, these Chem Warriors are coming out in numbers. Of course, CockyMe realizing that is how he needs to win this matchup. And, you know, Chem Warrior spam, not a bad idea. Of course, Chem Warriors having 600 health each means that they take a really long time, and the Fanatics just don't have the DPS to support it. So here we are. He's got 2 out of 3 pads. These two Chem Warriors are coming in, but the Shade's going to try and take this bottom pad here. Will make it in time. Just does. But the Stealth Tank to reload and take it out, and unfortunate for Princess of Doom, that means she loses this game.
Yep, and there it is. Chem Warrior is just so good versus this deck. It's really difficult to beat Chem Warrior spam with that deck. Oh yeah, unfortunate Princess of Doom there. She does go down. Alright guys, here we go. Round 2, BLP taking on Boswell. As you can see, they're both in the same alliance, and our hilarious behind the scenes guy Kenny is the leader of that alliance, and he's changed the alliance name to May the Best Terminus Win.
Yeah, you'll love to see it. So here we are. We got a first catship of the tournament, and of course, not surprising to see that because of course catship isn't very well leveled for most players. So this is a good chance for players to try it out as it is equal levels. But you know, here we are up against the Razorback deck, and you know the thing is. Blade, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, but you know the Chem Buggy should be pretty good because it ignores the Razorback. It's just you know, and he does have Phantom to deal with the Borkas, so this may not be too bad. But I don't know where the catship fits into this matchup. What do you think of this?
I think the catship will probably not get made. Honestly, I don't see a reason to make it in this matchup at all. Yeah, so this deck is a deck that Alicia played yesterday during Coliseum, from the one from BLP, and she was like, I made this deck 2 minutes ago, and she won with it obviously because she's Alicia, and she was like, oh my god, I made this deck like 2 minutes ago and it's amazing. I don't know what you guys are talking about, catship is so good and all this. I think this deck kind of sucks. I think this deck kind of sucks, and Alicia won because she's Alicia, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes.
Okay, so first missile coming down. VLPOP is going to throw that drone onto the pads. Of course, bikes are there to stop it, and these wheels go down to these pit bulls, but the landing drone finally goes down. However, this Marauder on this top right is going to go down as well, and now it looks like Boswell's going to swing the pads, but does move the bikes into position. These riflemen aren't going to be able to clear them very well, so we're going to see a bit of a stalled missile here for the time being. And as far as a tech switch, Boswell might be able to save up enough money for a Borka, and if that happens, I think he's going to secure this first missile, but here we go. This Chem Buggy is coming out to deal with these riflemen, and moving the bikes off the pad, of course, because he needs to get in position against these pit bulls, but so far it's a very back and forth game between these two very expert players. And now Boswell not really going into the Borka yet. He's built another pit bull to deal with the War Factory units, but here it comes, and I'm not sure if it's going to be in time. It's so close, but here it is going to start dropping its bombs, and there it is taking down the Chem Buggy, and these riflemen are going to hold the bottom pad as well. And wait a minute, here we go. Pitbull finally gets on there, swinging the pad over, bike goes down, and that gives the first missile to Boswell. Yeah,
a little bit of miss micro from Boswell's Borka there. I think he must have moved it left, and accidentally, when he was trying to select a different unit, he moved it back right, because I don't see any reason for him not to have continued swinging left. But yeah, he does manage to get the Borka back into position. I was surprised to see how long he spent before going Borka, because if I was in his spot, I would have built it like 2 units ago as soon as I had the money for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it dominated the missile right when it came out.
I mean, it was a pretty intense missile. You got to give him that. I mean, there was a lot going on at the same time, and I think he was just really worried about throwing units to pads. But I agree with you. I think the right call there would have been Borka early.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he wanted to go Borka and just didn't because he was panicking.
So here we go. There's 2 low HP units on the bottom pad. They're going to hold against the cat ship, and yeah, they do.
Yeah, well.
There. Cat ship did absolutely nothing there, and you know, not a bad deck from BLP in general, but yeah, Razorback, Pitbull, and Borka just too darn good.
Establishing battlefield control.
All right, here we go. Game number 2. Of course, Boswell taking that first game means that BLP is going to be looking for his first win here. And it is a best of 3, so he does need to be careful and make sure he doesn't get knocked out in the second game. But let's have a look at the decks. We're here on Russian, a very different map to what we were just on. And okay, so we're seeing somewhat of a similar decks. Of course, they are quite a bit different, though. We got APC basically with VOBLP. He's running basically a variant on Zaku's deck without Drone Swarm. But then we got Borka from Boswell, and Borka's really, really good here. VLBOP does not have Hammerhead, he does not have Slingshot, and even though the pads are spread out, you know, Borka still does quite well on a map like this. So I don't know how VLBOP really does win here, because Boswell is a pretty smart player, but we'll have to take a look. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I agree. It's really hard to beat Borkas with just ground units. It's not impossible. The pads are spread out, so it is more possible than it would be on a tighter map where the Borka just annihilates everything. But it is going to be tough to beat those Borkas. I actually think BLP's best bet might be to get APC set up and force the Orca Bombers to spend an entire volley on killing the APC. And then you can maybe hunt it down while it's reloading. But yeah, having played APC, like Borka is one of the best counters to an APC deck, so I'm not feeling good for BLP's chances here.
Well, and so far, we're kind of seeing a similar game to their first one here with a lot of stalling going on in this first missile. APC comes out, gets onto that middle path. There wasn't good blocking there from Boswell. And this Razorback no longer has any targets to shoot at with 3 War Factor units on the field. So not really going to get too much value, although has done a great job of tech switching for Boswell. But here we are, first Borka coming out. It's going to deal with this APC at very low HP. It needs to get one more bomb off, and there it goes. Liang drone on that far right is just going to stall a little bit longer. Hammerhead coming out as well, and this Pitbull should hold long enough. But of course, that Liang drone coming down means this Borka needs to move off the pad. There it goes. And these Pitbulls are doing so far a good job, but I don't think it's going to pay off here. And the Borka is almost reloaded, but oh, it doesn't matter. It's high hit points allowed to survive just long enough for Boswell to again take the first missile.
Yeah, very nice, well-timed flip there from Boswell, moving the Hammerhead and the Borka onto the pads at exactly the same time to get that flip. And you saw BLP almost take that missile by doing what I was saying he should do, basically. Like, he used an APC to eat the volley, and then because the APC had caused the Borka to empty its bombs, the Pitbull was able to come in and take out the Borka. But Boswell outplayed BLP there with that sick flip. It wasn't really a lot BLP could do, honestly. I think, yeah, I don't know what, like I say, BLP didn't have much option. He had to use the Liang drone to buy himself time. And then once Boswell set up that flip, there was nothing BLP could do to stop it.
So here we go. We got 2 APCs, 2 Pitbulls on the field, and Liang drone coming down to the far top pad. It will hold against the APC for a little bit of time, but this Borka really does need to clear this APC, and it just about does. There it is, killers in the missiles. Pitbull does make it onto the pad. Liang drone on the far left finally goes down, and of course, VLBP trying to get his own drone down. Doesn't manage to hold steady against that top right pad, so looking pretty good here for Boswell. He's got this middle pad pretty well secured. Pitbull's going to make it on there, but of course, these missiles will deal with it. And now, in second Borka coming in from behind, this is going to make sure to solidify the victory here for Boswell. And of course, this Borka is going to go down to this APC. APC does manage to shoot up, so that Borka does go down. And actually, you know, maybe VLPP using the power of Pitbull and APC might be able to come out ahead here, but he's got this middle pad sort of secured. This Borka is taking a long time to reload. Actually, maybe that 2-second reload nerf is starting to pay a bit of an impact in this match, but either way, another Borka coming in onto this middle pad will clear this APC with its full volley, and he does clear his own Pitbull at the same time. Linder trying to get in there in time, but just doesn't make it. And nice play by Boswell there.
Yeah, and that basically just came down to what we said at the start. The Borkas were just way too good versus BLP's deck. BLP would have needed to have Talon instead of Razorback to win that matchup, I think.
All right,
guys,
good.
Here we are. This is still round 2. This is game 2 between Greeno and Bambeloification.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him Bamble. Alright, so we've got Bamble on the Agent Shadow Nod deck and Greeno on the SRPSS Titan deck, which if you play, you are a monster, but also more likely to win a tournament. So, you know, you gotta weigh up the value of your immortal soul versus winning a tournament.
Well, what is Bamble's path to victory here? Obviously, against the Titan deck, it's mostly time, right? Like,
Yes.
you're basically just making sure that he doesn't get the Titans out, because as soon as that starts happening and he starts to snowball the economy, it's kind of a lost cause at that point. He doesn't really have... I mean, he's got Shade in his deck, he's got Stealth Tank. Is that enough, though, if the Titans came out in numbers?
Shade can be enough for the first Titan. So what you need to do is you have to win Missile 1. You absolutely have to win Missile 1 as Bamble. And then you have to pressure the second missile. And you have to kill the first Titan with Shade, which is entirely possible. But if you lose one of the first 2 missiles, then you're just done. And it's looking really bad for Bamble right now.
It is, yeah. Greeno here using, of course, the Razorback missile combination. This is the best combination in the game currently, especially with Liang in his belt. And yeah, with that middle pad secured with those double missiles and the Razorback to support, there it is. That first missile very easily goes to Greeno. And now we see a second Harp coming out. He's going to get ready to bring those Titans out.
Yeah, this is an absolutely brutal map to try and be Nod player on. This middle area, it's almost impossible to catch a Razorback ever. There's so many rocks, there's the missile silo. It's basically impossible to catch and kill a Razorback. The only thing you can do as Bamble is you have to try and take the top 2 pads, because you simply cannot fight for the middle. Once you lose that first missile, you're done, generally speaking, in this matchup. You can see now there's a Titan out. Even if Greeno kills this first Titan, he's going to have to kill another 5, 6 Titans to win this game. It's just never going to happen.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing too is because of how much health the Titan has, I believe it's about it's close to 5,000 if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And one Shade Volley and just one Stealth Tank Volley isn't even enough to clear one. So, you know, it's going to be a very tough fight, but it doesn't matter here. Of course, we got Greeno on all 3 pads. She's going to try and move on to that middle pad. That Stealth Tank should, oh, and there it is, pinging out the missile. So he might be able to take this missile, but it doesn't matter. The missile's on that top right, took out that very low HP Fnatic. Liang Drone coming in. He's going to hold this pad against the Shade very, very easily. These Titans have tons of hit points, so they're not going to go down anytime soon. And on that top left pad, the Razorback and the Shade are just saying hello to each other, so that's not going to do anything. And of course, now with the Stealth Tank about to go down to these missiles here, that means that it's going to be very easy for Greeno to secure this missile. Hammerhead going up to that far right had lots of time to make it there, and he's going to try and clear, almost screws it up there, but guts that Harvester on that top right and secures the pad. And again, it's just a stall, but doesn't matter. It's only a matter of time before this missile does go to Greeno, and there it is.
Yeah, and Bamble managed to take out 1 Titan in that game, and Greeno ended the game with almost 400 Tiberium, which is enough for 3 more Titans. Alright guys, here we go, round 3. The Copycat TV taking on Ponte. We're seeing Solomon versus Jackson on 2 fuses, so very unlikely to see either player playing that Titan deck. The Titan deck is dramatically worse without Liang. And yes, we do in fact see a Dog Razorback deck from Ponte with no anti-infantry infantry. And Copycat is playing his Solomon APC deck. This is a very weird deck that Copycat plays. I think this might be... I like APC a lot on this map, by the way. 2 pads, APC is very strong on this map. And I think Copycat is playing Solomon to counter Titan. I think that would be my guess. He's worried about there being some tech, and he wants Solomon as an out.
Yeah, and an old-time player, Mav, he used to play Solomon for that very reason. He'd always just call it his delete button, you know? Anything you couldn't deal with, well, you know, you'd play Solomon and you had no problem dealing with it. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think that would be one good reason to play Solomon here. And, you know, being on 2 pads, that means that he can use one to play off as a great tempo play, because positioned correctly, he'll be able to deny area, and he'll also be able to completely clear a pad. So, quite, you know, this actually might work out very well. And APC to come in behind will be really good, too. So far, that's kind of what we're seeing. You know, Ponte trying to get into his Razorback plan here, and now that means Copycat's going to go into his War Factory. Got this Pitbull and missiles on that far left, which is going to hold steady against that Razorback. APC trying to viciously get onto that pad. These dogs just denying it get access, and it doesn't look like it's able to make it there. So this Pitbull coming up from behind is going to be very good. Of course, these double dogs though are going to hold the path for quite a while. Doesn't really matter too much though. Missiles stalled quite a bit, and actually in terms of late game, I think Copycat's got a slightly better late game simply because he can spam those APCs with enough economy. We've got these jump jets coming out too, and jump jets are going to be quite good. Of course, with these drone swarms coming out too, that's going to be a bit of an issue without Ponte having his anti-air, but you do have Talon coming out, so that's going to be very good as well. Drone swarms are going to move on to that far left pad, try to deal with those jump jets, but nice blocking with that Razorback, not allowing the drone swarms to get into position quickly. And now this bottom right pad is almost secured. Jump jets nearly get on there, and oh, very slight misstep there from Ponte. Loses him that first missile and gives Copycat a bit of an edge here.
Yeah, Ponte could have flown onto that pad, but didn't make that play in time. Went for the kill on the Pitbull instead, which ended up costing him a little bit. I think as Copycat, you always go War Factory against GDI, and interestingly, this APC deck is decent versus Razorback decks, like standard mid-range Razorback decks that don't have tech, because you can play a no infantry game plan. You can literally play just APC and Pitbull versus almost everything. So because you can do that, you don't just lose to missile spam, basically. Like decks that lose to missile spam without infantry is what is super weak to Razorbacks. But this deck can just use APC as its anti-infantry, which is what you're seeing here. Like Pontiki's having a really hard time clearing out these APCs. Oh, Iron Cannon. This is Copycat's patented Iron. Copycat's patented Iron Cannon. This is it. This is Copycat's favorite play in the deck. Is he Iron Cannons his own APC, leaves the missiles behind to contest, but kills the opponent's units. And yeah, completely dominant from Copycat there. Really nice.
Yep.
Here we go, guys. Game 2, Pontiki versus Copycats. This time we're on Frozen Road, and we see both players switching from GDI to Nod. So we're going to see Seth taking on Oksana here.
Ooh. And wow, very interesting decks from these players. We got, well, Pontiki running Catship without any chem activators. So, you know, I'm a little surprised to see that. I love Pontiki for trying something new, but, you know, I really feel like this might be a big misstep from him. And then Copycat using a very interesting deck as well. I've seen him play this deck before. It's basically no bikes. It's a Nod aggro variant without bikes, and he's using laser drones instead. You know, it's not bad, actually. Buggies are a decent unit. They're not great. I think on your tier list, you probably put them at, what, B, I would assume? Or C? Okay. Yep. Yeah, so they're not bad. And I've actually seen him win games with Buggy before, so it may work out okay in this match. But, you know, the fact that Pontiki does have tank in his deck makes Buggies very sad. So this may not work out for him.
That's exactly it. Buggy is a decent unit if your opponent doesn't have tanks. If they have tanks, it's complete trash. Like, absolute trash. And that's why Buggy and Rhino have been bad for so long, because there were so many tanks around.
So here we are. This bottom pad's held by these lasers. Of course, the rifle or the militants can't clear them in time. And nice blocking there from Copycat takes that first missile.
Yeah, interesting that Pontiki boosted his tank, which is a standard thing to do. Like, obviously, you want to boost tanks a lot. I wonder if he boosted his militants, he would have actually got there, because the militant DPS, even with 3 models, was probably higher against anti-infantry than the tank. I'm not certain, but I think maybe he would have been better off boosting the militants instead of the tank.
It's possible, because even then, like, he may have cleared them, but would he have gotten onto the pads in time? It's hard to say. Well, here we go. Got the Scepter plug, the first one coming down. Nice placement against these lasers. Of course, they're going to start doing some real nasty damage to those lasers. They're not going to be able to hold steady. And Pontiki doesn't really have his anti-air online, although he does get the first catch-up coming out. He's going to try and go after those flame troopers, and he's going to get a few shots off of them, and it's nice. It actually does one-shot the flame troopers, so it's pretty strong in that regard. The unfortunate thing here, though, is Copycat does have access to Buggy and Phantom. I think Buggy's actually not too bad against the catch-up because it does not have any good vehicle damage. So unfortunate for him there, but now these tanks coming out in numbers, Laser Drone's trying to try and shore up that difference with the Buggies, but they're not going to do as creative a job. As soon as Pontiki starts to get his Phantom online, that should be enough for him to secure this game. But so far, I would say Copycat's doing a very good job of fighting this.
Yeah, I'm very surprised to see Copycat make so many Buggies, honestly. Like, he just suicided a ton of Buggies into that tank. I really would have liked to see him making his own tanks. I think that would have been way better, but here we go, contesting this missile with the laser drones bottom, but Phantom from Pontiki at top is going to take out those laser drones up there. I don't think Copycat can kill the units bottom in time. No, he can't. And that's going to bring it back to a 1-1 missile.
Yeah, that was an overcommitment from Copycat on these Buggies. You know, as soon as the tanks started rolling out, Pontiki was able to secure that missile pretty easily, and especially as soon as he got his Phantom online. Phantom was really what secured it there for him. And you know, Copycat, he made a few missteps there. You know, losing his own Phantom with the to the lasers and the Phantom on the far right pad was a big loss, because now he's a little bit short on cash. He's got enough to build another Phantom, but even though if he does get there, he doesn't really have any good targets for it. So
yeah, I mean, the fact is that both players just have a bad unit in their deck. Pontiki's got that cat ship that isn't really doing anything, and Copycat's got this Buggy that isn't really doing anything.
Yeah.
I think if Pontiki just hadn't brought tanks, the Buggy could definitely be good, but with tanks in the mix, Buggy is just so terrible. And that's really hurting Copycat here. I think it's hurting him more than it's hurting Pontiki, because Pontiki doesn't really need his cat ships. He has access to militants.
So here we are, got a boosted catch-up coming out. He's going to deal with those flame troopers very quickly. That Seth Robotic losing all of its value, and now Phantom on that far left will hold against those lasers. These double tanks on the bottom secures that third missile there, and Pontiki takes his game back, bringing this to a 1-1 series. Well done to Pontiki.
Yeah, and the catch-up there, one of the few things catch-up is actually amazing against is flamers. So the catch-up was able to very easily clear out that drill pod flamers. because that's one of the few units the catchup's really good against. Alright guys, here we go. Match point. Copycat taking on Pontiki. Oksana mirror here. Pontiki miles ahead with the much nicer Oksana skin there. Copycat with the default one. If we see Pontiki throw out an emote as well, then I think it's already GG.
Wow. Okay, so he's gone with the exact same deck, but then Copycat switching to Giga Cannon. Giga is extremely good on flooded field, so you love to see that. And without any good anti-vehicle air unit with like laser drones or shade, you know, this is going to be a very difficult match for Pontiki. He's got Stealth Tank, which deals very effectively with both the catship and the Phantom. And then, of course, the Giga Cannon will be able to deal with the tanks without too much problem. I'm a little surprised to see, again, not running Fanatics with the wheels. I think that would have been better than the Militants, but either way, it doesn't matter. Copycat's got a very, very good deck here against Pontiki's brought.
Yeah, I have to agree. I wonder if Copycat thought Pontiki would bring the same deck, because Giga is seriously good, like you say, against Pontiki's deck. He just doesn't have any air units that can kill a Giga Cannon. And Giga Cannon beats all ground, basically. So, yep. Yeah, I mean, Giga Cannon is an absurd unit that is shut down in the metagame by things like Porker and Razorback being so popular.
That's right. But in a tournament setting, of course, that changes things. So here we go. This boosted Giga Cannon can start dealing some damage. It's in a great position here to be able to use its 2 range. It is going to take a little bit of time here to deal with these lasers. Now this catchup is going to try and out be a good tech switch, but doesn't really have any good targets. It has horrible anti-vehicle damage, as we see here. It can't even one-shot a single wheel. So it's just going to sit there and try and tickle things. But this Giga Cannon is going to get very good value as it starts to chew through both of these bikes. Clearing that far right pad moves on there, and now the militants aren't going to be enough. And that, again, catchup just cannot clear those wheels. So first missile goes to Copycat.
Yeah, catchip just takes too long to take down those wheels. I thought that Pontiki might try and cloud and shoot the Giga Cannon. He changed target to finish off that wheel squadron. I don't know if that was the right play. I'm not sure how much hit points a Giga Cannon has. I'm pretty sure a cloud explosion would not have killed it. I think it's 800 damage for the cloud explosion. I'm almost certain the Giga has more than 800 hit points, because 800 would be an absurdly low number.
Yeah, it does for sure.
Yeah.
So again, Copycat doing a really good job here, holding down the fort. He's got this Giga Cannon, and that's exactly what he needs to rely on. And he gets a Harvester kill as well, slowing down Pontiki's economy considerably. And unfortunately for him, again, this catchip just really not doing anything for him.
Yeah, if you saw that, he boosted it to try and take out the bikes, but Copycat just moved as the cloud was coming out, which is one of the problems. One of the problems with the catchip is you can simply just move out of the way of that cloud, and then it doesn't get the explosion. Oh, there you go. He does take down 1 Giga with a catship. Oh, sorry, probably the tank that killed it, actually. Oh, there you go. There was an explosion on the Giga. Almost takes it out. Doesn't quite finish it, but does pretty good damage to it.
Yeah, and this Giga Cannon is low enough that a one more shot should
go down.
These lasers should be able to clear it. Will he get onto this middle pad? That's going to be the question here. Of course, these lasers are nice blocking with the stealth tank as well. Catchup boosted moves onto the far left, but with the boost, it takes extra damage. Of course, those lasers are not targeting onto the catchup. Finally moves over, but the bikes get cleared at the same time. He still does have that pad. Pontiki gets onto that middle pad, and he should be able to block these wheels. Almost nearly gets on there, but doesn't. And nice comeback here from Pontiki. He gets a second missile, and now we're going to go into the most exciting third missile we've seen so far in this tournament.
Yeah, Copycat, I gotta say, Pontiki playing this game really nicely. I think Copycat playing a little lazy. Kind of feels like he assumed his Gigas would just win the game for him. Like he made 2 Gigas at one point, and it kind of looked like he was like, I'm just gonna make some Gigas and you can't win anymore. And then Pontiki beat him up with his catchips. I don't think he should be making lasers to block for his Giga. Like, it's okay against the catchip. You saw there the catchip walked into 2 lasers and went down. But I really feel like he'd be better off just making like bikes or stealth tanks to block. Because it's not like the lasers even counter Pontiki's lasers. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like the lasers are not the best blocking unit he could make.
Yeah, the lasers do go down to the catchip, and I think that's one of the weaknesses there. But nice, he actually got another explosion off on there. But the bikes are going to clean up that single catchip. That other one boosted there does clear the bikes as well. And you know what? These catchips are not doing too bad for a boost. And here we go. So Copycat really fighting hard here. He does get those bikes out on the bottom pad, but doesn't clear it in one volley. And this boosted tank's going to clear the bikes in enough time. And a stealth tank booster will it be in time? He actually does clear the tank. Nice play from Copycat. It looks like it's going to be game.
Oh
wow!
Oh wow!
What a game!
And that game literally came down to the fact that Pontiki boosted his Scorpion, so it died to the stealth tank volley. If that Scorpion isn't boosted, it lives. Copycat does not take the bottom pad. Pontiki has time to get back on there. Wow. I don't know if Pontiki needed to boost his Scorpion in that spot either, so it might have been a small misplay that cost him there. Here we go, guys. Semi-final number 1. Boswell versus Guderian. Both these players tearing their way through the brackets. I know for a fact that Boswell wants this one, man. He messaged me. He wants this. He wants this slot badly. So let's see if he can bring it.
This is the last chance, so
Yep,
you know everything's
yep.
on the line, and he's made it this far. We'll see if he can go all the way. All right, so let's take a look at these decks here. So, yeah, Boswell running, this is a very classic deck at this point, this 4 War Factory deck with Fanatics and Stealth Tank, basically. But then Guderian running, this is actually a good choice for this map. It may not look like a great deck in general, but the Slingshot MLRS do a good job. Little surprised not to see maybe MSV. I think MSV would work well here because of the pads being so close together. But either way, I think, you know, the MLRS plus the Razorback should do a pretty good job against most of what Boswell's brought. Just really depends on if Boswell's going to push him out of position or not.
Yeah, I actually think that MSV is a bit of a meme. I think Guderian wants to play a real deck. I like this deck a lot. I think Boswell's gonna have a really hard time on this map. Bringing this no air deck is pretty risky, specifically for this reason. Like 2 ranged units are really hard to beat. Guderian could have brought like MG, and Boswell would be having a really hard time as well. Like 2 ranged units are just so hard to deal with this Fnatic deck. But Boswell, he's on the pads and Guderian isn't. He sneaks on with those dogs, but the bikes are well positioned to immediately take care of it. Very nice play from Boswell there. Those bikes are very, very well positioned to have access, like, to shoot those dogs as they move through whilst being out of range of the MLRS. That was a really nice play, honestly. Like, I mean, it doesn't look like much, but it's a really nice play. And here we go. You see sneaking both the bikes in as the MLRS moves. This is perfect play. This is how you beat MLRSs. When you force them to move up, that's when you hit them with everything you've got. And he takes it down. And this is huge because Guderian's kind of broke now. We're also seeing shocks from Guderian, which I'm a little surprised by. I guess he wanted a beefy anti-infantry unit that can stand in front of his MLRS. So shocks does make some sense. There isn't really another option. You don't really want to play snipers with MLRS because you don't want 2 range units. And you don't really want to do riflemen because they're a bit too cheap, and you've got the dogs as the 10 cost. So yeah, maybe shocks make sense here. And oh my god,
Wow.
Boswell sneaks around the back and Guderian just surrenders. All right, guys, here we go. Game 2, Boswell versus Guderian. Guderian switching into Nod. Also has a fancy Oksana skin, although this one I think is actually just worse than the default. What do you think? What do you think, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this one. Oh, and okay, so Guderian is playing Tick Tank with flames and mutants. This is very weird. So his he could never beat laser drones with this deck, right? Or shade. But if he knows Boswell's just going to bring the same deck, that's not a problem. This is a classic thing you see in tournaments, but not in ladder, right? You can't play this deck on ladder from Guderian because you'll run into people playing laser drones a lot and you'll lose all those games pretty much. But in tournaments, it just doesn't matter, because if you know your opponent's not bringing laser drones, then it doesn't matter if your weak deck is weak to them. So if you know Boswell is a guy who doesn't play laser drones very often, you're perfectly safe bringing a deck like this.
Yeah, and so, you know, the thing is, he's running Tick Tank, and that's obviously going to be, you know, try to hold pads, and it does have a ton of health once it's entrenched, but, you know, here it is, it's moving, and it's going to take shots from the Scorpion tank, which means it's going to lose a ton of value.
Yeah, look at that, it's almost dead already.
So it does get entrenched. Of course, this tank needs one more shot to take it down. It looks like the bikes will clear the tank as well, and the single bike might be a bit of a liability as he's going to split the missile here. He doesn't get them into position very quickly, and these boosted lasers get onto the pad. Oh, unfortunate. Yikes.
Oh, it's not good enough.
It does get on there with the bikes on the top left, and that secures the missile for him finally. I was really close there. I was really close.
I think Guderian could have got the block. He slightly missed it. That's fair enough. There was a boosted laser. The boost makes it harder to time the block. Very heads-up play from Guderian to go top left as soon as he realized he couldn't block the middle. That bought him, like you saw the missile barely even stop charging. He just fired the missile immediately. Very nice play from Guderian there. The problem was that I think Boswell's tech switch into lasers was a mistake. He needed something fast in that spot. He didn't have time to get lasers there. Although having said that, he did actually get them there, so maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I think he needed something a little bit faster in that spot.
Yeah, the nice speed of the attack bikes being fastest allows them to get in position very quickly, and the boosted lasers did make it onto the pads, but it was just a little bit too late, unfortunately. It's very close there. Guderian nearly lost it, but yeah, really well played. And now we got a Tick Tank, the second one coming out. It is entrenched this time, and it's going to hold steady against these lasers. You see, lasers really do take a long time to clear an entrenched Tick Tank, so it's actually quite good, and these Flame Troopers are going to be able to shore up that difference, but he does move the Tick Tank down, and it's going to take a shot.
Oh yeah, that move was very bad.
So
Very
he's got those
costly.
bikes from the top left. Stealth tank coming in from behind. He doesn't move it onto the far right pad though. He's going to try and go after the stealth tank or tank. But nice flip there with that tank on that top left, taking care of the bikes in time. Allows Boswell to come back, and now he's got a chance to take the series.
Super risky play from Boswell there. He was focus firing the bikes that were on the middle pad. But Guderian had another unit on the middle pad, so it didn't stop Guderian contesting, and he barely kills the bikes top left in time. And his tank was so low. Like, I would have, if I was in Boswell's spot, I would have been worried that those bikes were going to win that matchup, although I simply wasn't going to kill them in time. So I think he should have been focusing the top left bikes instead. Interesting to see Guderian bringing these flamers as well. They've done an okay job so far. The problem is that this keeps happening, where he has flamers and Boswell just trades a Fnatic squad for them, and then the boosted wheels finish them off. So he's getting 10 Tiberium every time he does this. And you can see Boswell has 280, Guderian has 50. And that's because Boswell's making much better trades. The problem is, Boswell doesn't really have a way to turn that money into battlefield advantage. The best thing he can do is this stealth tank, which does come out, and if he gets the tick tank here, he does get the tick tank. That's huge. That's huge. That should be game over right there.
Yep.
Yeah, and there it is.
Doesn't block on that bottom right with the Marauders. The lasers do make it on there, and yeah, Boswell comes back. He's swinging this game in his favor. Really well done to him.
Yep. Here we go, guys. Final match. Guderian taking on Boswell. So we've got Jade versus Oksana. Surprised to see Jade. Surprised to see no Seth. I think Seth is absolutely the nuts on this map. 3 spread out pads. Being able to pop a unit, no pop cap is amazing. Really surprised by this. The Guderian's now got Chem Buggy and Flamer and Wheel. Wow. Boswell's now playing a laser drone Jade deck, so interesting. I don't see. I mean, these laser drones are going to be insane, right? Guderian doesn't have lasers. Boswell's brought laser drones. He's abusing the fact that Guderian didn't bring lasers in the previous match.
Yeah, it's going to be a really sweaty match here for Guderian. These laser drones, you know, in numbers will be a very big problem for Guderian. The fact is, Stealth Tank looks like it's a natural counter, but it costs 100 for 20, you know, and that's not great because laser drones, you know, you pop 3 of those out, you're not going to have one Stealth Tank deal with all 3 of those squads. And the bikes aren't going to be good enough, especially with the fact that attack bikes are bugged at the moment. So it's going to be a pretty tough match here for Boswell. Although, having said that, you know, Guderian's got 3 of these pads. He is going to be able to win this first missile. He does swap the wheels and the bikes around. A little bit of a misplay almost, because he could have lost pad control on that far left pad, but does manage to get on there with the wheels, so it worked out okay. Guderian does take this first missile, and that's good for him because Boswell with Jade obviously is looking for that first missile to make sure he goes after the base, so that option's off the table now.
Yeah, Boswell, the reason Boswell lost that missile so badly is because he went triple building against Guderian's single building. So Boswell spent an extra 90 on just building costs, and Guderian was able to spend that money on units, which put Boswell very far behind. I'm not sure I really liked the tech switch into the lasers afterwards. Like, once you're committing to the laser drones, just keep making laser drones. Like, your opponent's deck is quite bad against them. Although, having said that, laser drones on this map actually are a little... stealth tank. Laser drones are a little bit weaker on this map on account of the fact that you actually want to stack laser drones together, because stealth tank and bikes both do a lot of damage to a single laser drone squad, but then the other laser drone squads punish them for it. But this map's quite spread out, so it's quite difficult to stack up like 3 laser drones in one location, which is what you really want to do against Nod, because then it's really hard for them to take out those laser drones without getting punished in return.
So the first Chem Warriors come out here from Boswell. They go after those Marauders on the bottom left, and Missile's getting very close to firing, and Guderian might just be able to swing into his first victory of this match. Those wheels on the bottom right there, bottom left there, might just be enough. And oh, what a flip there from Boswell! Oh man, Dice must be getting his jollies off right now, because damn, that was good. Whew.
I gotta say, man, Guderian made a huge misplay there. He boosted his Marauders on the bottom left, I think in an attempt to get them away from the chems and wheels that were shooting them. But the extra damage they took, I think, is what killed them. Because of the extra damage from Oksana boost. So, yeah, that was a brutal one. And Dice gives it a 10 out of 10. The first 10 out of 10 I think I've ever seen from Dice.
Yeah, that was a solid flip for sure.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And Boswell's done this already once throughout the tournament, so that was a pretty calculated play, I'm sure. Although I think, like you said, the boost on the Marauders really did cost him.
I don't think that one was calculated. I think that one was pure luck.
It might have been. It's hard to say. But here we go. So, you know, Boswell doing a pretty good job. He's moving that Harvester on the bottom left. That single HP Chem Warrior does go down to the Marauders and the bikes on the top right. Or sorry, on the top pad there. The Marauders are going to hold steady against these Chem Warriors, but not for too much longer. This boosted Chem Bike, he tries to get in position, but we've got laser drones coming in from behind, and these laser drones are going to be very, very good. And now, of course, Chem Bike is not on the pad. His boost is going to take more damage from these laser drones, and it might go after the far left pad. Will the Harvester block it? Doesn't matter. Take it in time. Stealth Tank can come in time, and there it is. Boswell takes the game. man, Guderian, you know, this was your best game of the series yet, and unfortunately it fell short, but Boswell was just an excellent player.
All right, guys, semi-final number 2, Copycat TV taking on Johnny Derp. Not seen Johnny Derp before in one of our tournaments, but yeah, he's been tearing it up. Here he is in the semis. He hasn't lost a round yet, so one step away from that sweet vanity.
And wow, okay, so he's brought snipers with the Razorback fights. A little unfortunate there. Slingshot, you know, it's not bad. The fact that it costs 60 does make it a little bit worse against Borka. The fact that you have to build basically 2 of them to counter Borka. But we're here on open water, so I don't know. I mean, Johnny Derp's deck is not bad. It's just those snipers, I think, is going to be a real problem for him. He's not going to be able to use them pretty much.
Yeah, I think the snipers are going to be okay early game. He's going to make snipers. Copycat's going to make Razorback. He's going to make Slingshot. The snipers are going to survive thanks to the Slingshot. Then Copycat's going to make Borkas, and I don't know what Johnny does at that point. That's going to be the problem.
So interestingly, he's actually gone into APC. Not a bad choice because, of course, you know, his only real answer to it here is Borka. Pitbull's doing an okay job, but, you know, having said that, he's got this double missile concave again with the Pitbull coming in from behind. This APC is actually going to go down very quickly, and Johnny Derp's not extracting the value he needs out of this. So far, actually not so great to see that. I think, you know, like you were talking about, maybe Slingshot, but no Razorback came out, so he didn't really have a good choice for that.
Yeah, that was a lot of firepower concentrated on that first APC. I think Johnny did not support it very well. I just let it go down pretty easily, but it did buy him a lot of space. You can see here he is pushing up pretty well. Snipers come out. Razorback comes out to respond though. Is that Razorback should easily clean up these snipers. It might go down afterwards, but it's definitely going to clean up those snipers.
Oh, and that single missile living just with a sliver of health.
Ooh,
the sniper just could not hurt him in
that.
time. And hold on a minute, Lane Jordan is going to get onto the pads here, and it does. And this Pitbull is going to try and block the militant. Very nice play from Johnny Derp here, but Lane Jordan will make it in time, and it just about does. But never mind. Of course, the Slingshot was able to clear it very quickly, and Johnny takes that first missile against Copycat. Well played.
Yeah, Copycat, bit of a panic Liang there, making Liang into a Slingshot. Obviously a very bad play, just costing him 50 Tiberium. And then Copycat desperately trying to get that rifleman onto the pad, but it had 3 units on it. He simply couldn't occupy the tile properly.
So these Pitbulls actually doing a really good job here for Copycat so far, and Johnny Derp's coming up very slightly ahead in that first missile, but you know, I think here Copycat finally is going to start to get his combination set up here with the Razorbacks. Razorback's doing a really good job here against the snipers, of course, and he's left a single one alive, which is a problem for Johnny. He's pop-capped on a single sniper, which is not great. This Lane Drone's really going to start to lose value, and he may not have it in time for the second missile, so this actually might cost him big time. We've got a Borka coming out as well. It's going to clear just about everything here. That first Pitbull goes down, it's going to go after the APC, gets rid of the APC, and also the missiles at the same time, so great value for Copycat. Johnny doesn't have a ton of money under his belt. He doesn't have enough to build 2 slingshots, but 2 slingshots would be an overcommitment at this point. And now we're coming to the second missile. Yang Drone is just about ready. Will make it in time, and it's looking not like the end. No, it doesn't. It almost gets there, but doesn't. And unfortunate for him there. Now that Copycat's coming back with the second missile, and we're going to a 3-missile game.
Yeah, and Borka is really Copycat's best unit. I think I was surprised to not see him make Borka sooner. That Razorback that just went down, he made that in response to a sniper squad. I would have made Borka if I was Copycat in that spot. Borka will take care of snipers just as well as Razorback does, but it also won't struggle against these Pitbulls and slings. So here comes double Borka. How much damage are we going to see? 3 Pitbulls and a slingshot go down. The Copycat looks like both these Borkas are going to die. Leandro's almost back up. I think he can retreat both of these Borkas and heal them back up. He can just park these on the back of the map. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, he's parking them really far back. This is exactly what I would do in his spot. Stall the missile, heal up these Orca bombers, push them in when they're reloaded and healed up. That's definitely what I would do. Oh, he's gone triple Borka now. Oh my.
Oh, here it goes. They're going to clean up house, and look, all 3 of them coming down at the same time, all of them dropping their bombs, and that completely clears the pads. And we're nearly at the 3rd missile, of course, and this means Johnny's in a bit of a pickle as he needs to get onto these pads, and Harvester's moving at the same time, leaving him with no economy. And nice blocking with this Pitbull here. Of course, the Borka's going to reload anyways and take care of it, but there it is. Copycat doing a very good job coming back, Borka being a great comeback tool, and he wins that first game.
Yeah, really unfortunate timing on the Harvester move there for Johnny. He completely, like, both players were broke, but Copycat had 2 Borkas, so he didn't need money. Alright guys, game 2, Copycat TV taking on Johnny Derp. Copycat obviously up 1-0 after that Borka prowess. I say prowess, you know, using a Borka is not difficult.
He pushed a button, let's be honest.
Yeah, he made a Borka and he moved it over the map. Good job, Copycat. Alright guys, here we go, game 2. So oh my god, we've got Avatar from Johnny, Air Avatar, a classic old school deck. But Copycat is bringing Flame Tank Basilisk, And this is one of the worst feel bads if you're Johnny Dirt, when you are bringing an avatar and your opponent just happens to be playing Basilisk for some reason.
No
that
kidding.
is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, because you know what, the Basilisk is just going to be very good against Avatar. Back in the day, Blade, you remember this when you were playing, I think it was a Crate Challenger? I can't remember what it was. But anyways, you and Striker were working out the best deck to bring, and it happened to be Avatar. And then from there, you surmised that actually the best counter turned out to be Basilisk.
Yeah, there was two maps, and one of them Avatar was amazing, but the other one it kind of sucked. So we didn't want to play Avatar because it would have been bad on one of the maps. So we ended up playing an aggro Nod deck with Basilisk as a counter to Avatar in case we're playing on flooded fields.
That's right. Yeah,
and we
I
ended
remember.
up both getting 15-0 pretty comfortably with the deck and beating multiple Avatars along the way.
No kidding. So yeah, in those scenarios, like the Basilisk just did such a good job against Avatar. Depends on how you use it. Like if you boost the Basilisk, then Phantom can actually... No, Phantom cannot one-shot it, so never mind. It's Stealth Tank that can if it's boosted.
Yes.
So in that
That's
vein, Basilisk can do very good in this matchup, and even though he does have Phantom, it's just not going to be enough. And at some point, what's going to happen is it's going to be a Phantom versus Phantom war, and you know, Copycat will be able to maintain the value out of the Basilisk, take care of the Avatars, at least he should be able to. So it's going to be a pretty tough matchup for Johnny here.
Yeah, I agree. Well, basically what's going to happen is, obviously that was back then, you played Stealth Tanks alongside your Avatars and your Basilisk, because Stealth Tank had like the 9-second reload. It was just insanely good. And Stealth Tank gave you a hard counter to Phantom. Phantom mirroring is not as hard a counter, but what's going to happen is Copycat can make a Basilisk, and then Johnny has to shoot it with his Phantom, and then Copycat can shoot his Phantom back while it's not loaded. And that's going to come out ahead for Copycat.
Oh man, so this Flame Tank is going to be very impactful. Of course, lasers and Phantom on the field means this Flame Tank really has no enemies. So Avatar first comes out, but you know, he's going to go after the base and deal a little bit of damage to that. I don't think it's going to really work for him though, because the Flame Tank should go down to these laser drones pretty quickly. But here we go, this Basilisk coming out against the Avatar, and this is exactly what we talked about. He does get a Harvester kill, so that's good for Johnny. It means he will be able to get second Avatar out, but this Basilisk should get enough value with the Flame Tanks to clear up these lasers pretty quickly, and it's almost actually pretty close here. This Basilisk nearly goes down, but it's now fully boosted, and it's going to take care of that Avatar very quickly, as we see.
Yeah, and also take a look at the base.
It's almost down, yeah.
Yeah, Copycat sent both his Phantoms to the base. Johnny was too busy trying to fight for the map control, wasn't able to go and defend his base properly. But now Copycat just needs to get something to that base. If he's probably going to fight for this missile, and if he loses it, he's going to go ham on the base. That would be my guess.
Yeah, that's all he really needs to do. In fact, he could just spam Basilisk and Phantom and just go after the base right now. One Phantom volley plus a little bit of damage from the Basilisk would be enough to take it out. So, you know, not going to be very difficult here for Copycat, even if he does drop this missile to go after the base.
Johnny did kill both his halves, so Copycat is broke right now.
That is true, actually. You're right.
He does need some money to get to the base, and like he doesn't have a lot going on right now. There's two Avatars. Getting past these things could be a huge issue.
Yeah, actually, you're 100% right. You know, Johnny did a good job of going after the Harvester. That's one of the ways that you play this deck, is as soon as you have map control, you just start going after the Harvesters and start snowballing the economy in your favor.
Phantom! The boosted Phantom has no answers because Johnny built another Avatar! Oh, is it the race? I think the Phantom wins, there it is! Oh, the third Avatar killed Johnny. If he hadn't made that, if he just made another Phantom, he could have blocked Copycat's Phantom and he would have won the game.
All right, here we go.
All right, guys, match points. Johnny Dirt versus Copycat TV. We're on Orbit. Copycat is bringing Seth, which I think is the best commander for this map. Johnny bringing Jackson. I think I'd massively prefer... I haven't seen the decks yet, but I'm almost certain I'd prefer to be in Copycat's shoes. Oh, yeah, for sure. I want to be the aggro Nod with Seth rather than the Mammoth Tank on Orbit. Even if Johnny makes it to Mammoth Tank, the best thing it's likely to do is take a pad, at which point Copycat ignores it and goes for the other two pads.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a very difficult match for Johnny. We got three pads that are very spread out. On top of that, Copycat's got Bikes in his decks, and Bikes do a pretty good job against Mammoth Tank. And you know, as long as Copycat has time on his side, he'll be able to use them to block Mammoth Tanks if that ever comes to pass, and he should be able to secure the victory. And here, Johnny going into his second Harvester, of course, not too late. He did go 2 units and then, Harvester 2 units and then second Harvester. And he's not going to win this missile, of course. You know, 2 pads secured by Copycat here. Wheels coming up on that top pad as well will secure it. He's going to clear the missiles here in just a moment. The drone swarms will take a little bit to get there, and they'll make it there in time. They're going to cross over just in... Oh, actually, never mind.
That could have been a big deal. If they'd made it in time, that's a huge deal, because Copycat has to send his bikes down there. It's like a whole extra 10-20 seconds or something for him to clear out those drones. Buys Johnny time to make more drones and go top, and then the game can go much longer. Copycat instead manages to get a pretty quick first missile.
Enhanced.
So yeah, interesting to see how this goes from here. But yeah, Johnny needs this mammoth, you know, and it's just so hard to get there in time.
Unit lost.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, like you said, those drones, I really thought they were going to make it in time, but they just didn't. They were just a pixel off, I swear. But like you say, if they had made it there, you're right. Those bikes would have had to go down there, and that would have given a lot of time to Johnny, which is exactly what he needs. As we see, we're moving into 1 minute 40 here. We got missile over half charge. Copycat doing a really good job of pressuring these pads, making sure that Johnny's just not getting to his mammoth tank in time. And here we see that he's nearly there, but not quite. He still has to build his tech lab, which is 90 plus 230 for that first mammoth, so he's not going to get there in time. The stealth tank is going to do a great job of blocking here. You can get some militants and the Mohawk onto the bottom pads, but it's not going to be quite enough here. Stealth tank's moving down. It's going to clear the Mohawk here in one shot, and that's going to allow the Fanatics to stall. And then, of course, Seth Dropaw coming down at the same time here. He's a great plays by Copycat. He's going to secure him the second missile and the victory.
Yep, and you see that Johnny can easily make his mammoth tank now, but it doesn't matter. It's too late.
Yep.
At no point, like, he could not have made that mammoth and made it to a pad in a relevant time frame in that game, because by the time he saved up the money to make it, it would have been too slow. Alright guys, here we go, the grand finals. Copycat TV versus Boswell. The grand finals, Oksana Mirror, and what map are we on? We're on Tide Pools. Oh, this could be a long one, guys. This map can go on very long.
Okay, well, so Copycat bringing the Cat Ship Chem Warrior deck, and this is a pretty standard list for this, I would say, even though the unit's fairly new. I feel like this is one of the more standard variations on the deck. And then, of course, Boswell bringing a classic meta deck to this match. You know, the Chem Warriors are good against the Fanatics, of course. We know that they can tank quite a long time. The stealth tanks do a decent job, but, you know, I feel like Scorpion tanks are going to be a big problem in this match for Copycat.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. Like, Copycat, of course, bringing his own sort of cat ship, weird cat ship chem deck. Boswell bringing my Fanatic deck. I think it's tough, man, because like you say, Scorpion is really good, but chems are insane versus this Fanatic deck. Oh, nice block on the wheels. That one wheel's alive! Oh, the lasers! Why did the lasers turn? Were they not getting on? Did they get blocked?
They did, yeah. The wheel just backed up as the lasers were coming on and blocked both the Chem Warriors and the lasers at the same time. So that was great from Boswell. Allowed him to take that first missile. Well done to him.
So yeah, what I was going to say, Chem Warriors are insanely good versus Boswell's deck, but Copycat does not have a good way to clean up wheels quickly. He doesn't have the laser drones. Bikes is really the best thing he's got. So that allows Boswell to actually kill Chemical Warriors with wheels, which is a thing you normally struggle to do because of laser drones, because so many of these decks play laser drones.
That's true.
Without that punish for the wheels, Copycat really wants to get a cat ship out to kill the wheels in one shot with the clouds. But then, as you say, the stealth tank is gonna be a huge punish for that.
Yeah, and as we see here, of course, Copycat's got both the pads. He's got those Chem Warriors, and he's able to block these wheels in time.
So
not having an air unit available to him means that, well, Copycat takes the second missile, and now this is where things get really interesting, because Copycat does have the option to go after the base, and it's going to be difficult for Boswell to stop that if that does happen. However, we are on tide pools with that lake in the middle there, so it may not be easy for the Chem Warriors to get into position easily.
Oh, and here comes that cat ship to clear up these wheels. This is what Copycat wants to do. This combo. Very hard. It's just so hard for Fnatic decks to kill Chem Warriors, because Fnatic decks, you need to have an opening unit, so you basically have to play wheels, because it's wheels or militants. You don't want to play militant Fnatic, so you basically have to play wheels, and then you don't want to play a third anti-infantry unit. You don't want to play wheels and Fnatic and something else, so you just end up being very weak to chems. Chems always ends up being a very tough matchup for Fnatics.
Yeah, and the problem here, so again, Stealth Tank very good. Of course, the problem is, can he catch those cat ships? And he got the first one there. That Stealth Tank getting some good value so far. This Catalyst ship coming in to go against these wheels. Of course, the wheels actually do quite well against the cat ship having weak, but nice, he didn't move the wheels out of the way, so that bomb got off and take care of it. But the Stealth Tank coming in clears that catch, but now with both pads,
I think that's it.
And I think this is going to be game here.
Oh, yes!
So
just
close.
Gets it with the Stealth Tank block on all three tiles. And you see there, the problem is Copycat ran out of money. I think the cat ship was just a huge error. It cost him 100 to make the first cat ship. I think he made one more after that, maybe. That's like 150 Tiberium. That could have just been 2 Chem Warriors, which would have been way better. Once the chems were removed, it was very easy for Boswell to take the game. When there were 2 chems on the field, Boswell couldn't take the map. Alright guys, here we go. Boswell versus Copycat game 2. We're now on Hold the Line. which is of course the vertical free pad map. And we are seeing Solomon, I saw.
That is
Solomon
Solomon
versus Liang. Oh, so Boswell with the Titan deck, the classic Titan deck. That again, if you play it, you are basically selling your soul to try and win a tournament. You know, each their own. Boswell wants this tournament badly. He said how badly he wanted it before. He told me a couple of days ago how badly he wanted this win. So yeah, his immortal soul is clearly of less value to him than this tournament victory. Fair enough. Each their own.
Yep.
Copycat playing this.
That vanity.
Oh yeah, right. Well, he's already got the vanity. He's just now he's just flexing.
He's
No,
just
he wins qualification to the finals, which is prizes TBD. At least I think it's at least $250 at the moment.
Oh, that's quite good.
Yeah, I think it might be 300 now because it's like you take the prizes from each of the qualifiers and lump them together. So because he did an extra qualifier, I think it goes up by another $50. Anyway, not relevant. Copycat takes first missile easily, as always against Double Harvester. Very nicely played there. 56 seconds or so. Pretty quick, not the quickest possible, but you know, it's against a player who is, you know, awake. It's hard to stop him getting at least like 5 or 6 seconds of stall.
Yep.
So yeah, Copycat looking pretty strong right now. The issue is that he's broke, and I don't know what his answer is to the first Titan, which is going to be out reasonably soon here. Yeah, here it is. Few seconds and the first Titan comes out. Copycat does not have money for an Orca, does not have money for an Iron Cannon. So I don't know what his plan is against Titan. Wow, Boswell going for a Liang drone here. This Liang drone is such a misplay. It doesn't matter if he loses his Harvester. What matters is getting that Titan on the pad now. And he spent 50 on this Liang drone, so this was a big misplay from Boswell. That could cost him. He might not get Titan in time now.
Well,
yeah, here it comes. I don't think it's going to be fast enough.
And he's almost got enough money for a Solomon Iron Cannon if he really needed it, but I don't think he does. And there it is. Copycat comes back, taking down.
Boswell lost that game because he spent too much money instead of just immediately making Titan. He could have had that Titan very early, much earlier than he did.
Well, here we are, game number 3. We got Copycat versus Boswell in a GDI Grudge Mirror match. Let's see what kind of decks they brought, though. I expect they're going to be quite similar, but, well, knowing it's Copycat, who knows?
Indeed, indeed.
Oh, wow. Okay, very different. We got Predator with Razorback and then Borka Razorback Pitbull from Boswell. So I do think that because of the fact that Copycat's going to have to rely heavily on Slingshots, I mean, Slingshot, well, actually, having said that, this is a map where Slingshot can be protected a lot easier. We got the 2 rocks on either side of the missile silo, and then, of course, this is a 2-pad map, and Slingshot can cover both those pads with this 2 range and fire over the missile silo. So I don't know. I think Copycat's got a reasonable answer to Borka here. It really again comes down to value, and Boswell here is stalling the game, which is actually really good for him. So I'm not so sure how this is going to play out, but tough to say.
This map is very, very good for Razorback. Not surprised to see both players playing Razorback. Slingshot is also good on this map. I'm a little surprised. Copycat doesn't seem to be worried that Boswell might just be playing Titan again, because he just doesn't care that Boswell's been stalling the map. So I don't know if he has a read that Boswell's not playing Titan, or if he just doesn't know what to do about it. Because, you know, what are you supposed to do? This map is so hard. It's so hard on this map to push onto the other pad. Maybe Copycat just doesn't feel like there's anything. He hasn't really got a choice. But yeah, if neither, I mean, he's not playing the Titan, so it's fine. But if he was playing the Titan, I would say Boswell was super favored right now.
All right, well, Copycat's fighting for the pads here. We got double Pitbull from Boswell doing a good job of holding steady. This Razorback can't kill it in time, although, having said that, does take it down. And the single Pitbull not going to be enough. Razorback coming up onto that top pad. Lane Drone healing that Slingshot now will mean it's going to survive against this Razorback. So he's got to be real careful here. Now Mohawk moving down to the bottom means that Copycat's going to take the first missile. Yeah,
I think Copycat's deck is very favored, very favored if you exclude the Borka. Like, if there was no Borka in Boswell's deck, Copycat's deck just dominates him, because the Razorback Mirror, the Slingshot, is insanely good. It just dominates the Razorback Mirror having a Slingshot. But the Borka, you can make a Borka and swing it past a Slingshot, and it will take it down. And it'll take down everything else on the way as well. So this is going to be another game where Borka is the deciding factor. Can Boswell, or can Copycat beat Borka? It's going to decide who wins this game, I think.
Yeah, and so far, like right now, as we see here, the Slingshot, there's only one of them out, and of course, you really need to get 2 or block very well against a Borka for a single Slingshot to take down a Borka. But like you said, as long as Boswell gets that online, and you know, he might be able to come back. Having said that, he's got the money to build one. I'm actually surprised not to see one. There's only 1 air unit besides a Liang drone here, so Borka actually could be pretty good. And there it is, finally coming out, so it's going to start going after the missile. It's going to clear them in 2 shots. There it goes. Now it's going to go after them.
Take that Slingshot though. Kill the sling.
Oh no, that's unfortunate. Predator Tank's gonna survive, which means it can hold a pad. It's gonna clear this Pitbull in one shot. And although he is moving it back and forth, Predator Tank does finally get a shot off on it. And this Borka, however, cleaning up on that top pad.
Oh, the flips! Flips! Copycat with the flip. I thought Copycat was definitely losing that missile.
That was close.
Wow, nice flip from Copycat.
That slingshot moved into position onto the far right hex of the bottom pad just in time to stop the Razorback from moving forward. And that allowed Copycat to come forward. That was very close. Had he lost that, I think that was game. But wow, good job to Copycat.
All right, guys, here we go. Grand finals. Match point for Copycat TV here. Taking on Boswell. Yeah, Copycat up 2-1 currently. And we are now on the bullseye.
2, 1.
Yeah, we're on bullseye, and I'm a little surprised and disappointed not to see Kane ever played throughout this tournament so far, at least not in the featured matches. I think Kane would be good here.
Disappointed maybe, but not surprised.
Yeah, fair enough.
Kane is not good here, by the way. Kane Obelisk cannot be placed in that center tile.
Oh, really? Oh, you're right. They used to be able to way back in I think in the beta days, but you're right that they did fix that to reduce its tile range by 1, I think. So yeah, that's true. Because I remember playing on this map in Gold League way back in the day. I remember dealing with Kane and an obelisk in the middle.
Jeffrey. Where are you now, Jeffrey? What league are you in at the moment?
I'm in Gold League right now.
No progress made. No progress made since he started playing.
Well, speaking of Gold League, let's have a look at this game here. So we got identical decks just about, except for Mohawk versus Borka. So, actually, no, sorry, Slingshot versus Pitbull. So quite a bit different. Never mind. Having said that, again, this comes down to a lot of the same things as last game here. We got to rely on Slingshots to be dealing with these Borkas. As long as Boswell can get his Borka game online, he's going to be able to come out ahead. He's got Predator Tank to counter the Slingshots, so that's going to be very good. This is going to be a better match for Boswell, I feel.
Yeah, I think so too. This map is a little bit better for those Borkas. They have a little bit more room to move around, and the Slingshot is less able to cover a large percentage of the map. However, this Slingshot is dominant on first missile still. Takes down that Razorback easily, and you can see Copycat with the Liang drone wins the Predator fight. Just insanely far ahead on this first missile. And again, this comes down to, in a Razorback mirror, Slingshot is one of the few things that can actually punish a Razorback tech switch. If you switch into Razorback and your opponent goes Pitbull, you'll still call the infantry and your missiles will move up and you'll win. But a Slingshot doesn't do that. A Slingshot takes down the Razorback enough, you can't clear out all their infantry quickly. And you saw those 2 riflemen that were left were the guys who held that right-hand pad.
Yep. Yeah, it almost looked like Boswell just really didn't know what to do. I mean, the Slingshot was in a great spot. Yeah, and then that Predator Tank with the missiles on the top pad, the Liang drone couldn't contest a pad either. So Boswell was really hamstringed there.
And Boswell had to go free building because he then went Predator to fight the Slingshot. Copycat went 2 buildings, so Copycat had more money for fighting the missile. Had the Liang drone sooner because he had more money, and that ended up winning the Predator mirror. So he ended up winning that missile because of the Slingshot, basically.
So really, at this point, Boswell again, he's really got to rely on his Orca bomber, and he's not there yet. He spent all his money on Pitbull and Predator, and even though there's only 1 Razorback, I'm a little surprised to see that because it would clear everything else. But here we go. Copycat has a very clear foothold on the map, and that allows this game very dominant.
Wow, very dominant last game there, and that means Copycat takes it 3-1. And I think that a lot of those wins came down to Slingshot. He just had Slingshot, which is amazing in the Razorback mirror. And Boswell kept bringing Razorbacks and tech switching into them, getting punished. And I think Boswell needed to fight less and simply save up for Borka, because that was his trump card in the matchups. And he needed Borkas a little bit sooner, and that's what hurt him. He was building too many units to try and fight early, when what he should have been doing is just nothing and waiting for those Orca bombers, because those are the units that were going to get him back into it. All right, guys, there it is. Copycats are qualified player. Copycat played in a lot of these qualifiers, so it's really nice to see him take it down. Boswell played in a fair few as well. I don't think he played in as many as Copycat. I think Copycat might have played all of them. So yeah, really nice play, Copycat, taking down that last qualifier. He's going to replace Sheva. Unfortunately, it would have been nice to see Sheva, but he cannot make any days ever. So Copycat is going to replace him. And the date for the grand finals will be, it's either going to be July the 4th or July the, what day was it, Jeffrey? Do you remember?
It was 2 weeks after that, I think.
I believe that's correct. It'll be one of those two. I haven't decided which one yet. We will decide that once Copycat is part of the group. And I'll let you guys know. 4th or 18th, that sounds correct. Yep. Yeah, so we will decide one of those 2 days. And yeah, that'll be That'll be the finals. We will also be having a special rule set for the finals. It's going to be very interesting. I don't know exactly what the format's going to be yet, but it is definitely going to involve players banning units. So like I say, I haven't exactly decided what it's going to be yet, whether we're going to do Swiss or single elimination or double elimination or what. But we're definitely going to have some format where players get to ban units before the start of the game, and then probably after each game we'll have additional unit bans. I haven't decided exactly how it's going to look yet. Maybe loser bans, maybe both players ban after each game. I don't know. But we're going to have bans, which will hopefully shake up the meta game a little bit. All right, Jeffrey, do you have any last words?
I want to say that thanks to everybody for coming out, for watching the tournament, for participating, for donating, and for all the bits. You know, a big thanks to Blade, for hosting all these tournaments and really, you know, adding competitive content to the game, because that's really what it's come down to at this point. We need the community to come forward and to put together all this content. So really great job by Blade & Co. And just a pleasure for me to be a part of it. So I'm really looking forward to the finals. I think this is going to be one of the most interesting tournaments we've ever had yet. I can't wait, and we're going to have a really great cast of players in that tournament as well. So it's going to be fantastic.
All right, guys. There it is. Grand finals over. Copycat takes it 3-1. Congratulations to Copycat. Nice attempt from Boswell, but I believe the slight outdecking from Copycat was what it came down to. Those slingshots were absolutely brutal. All right, guys, that is going to be it from us. Say goodbye, Jeffrey.
All right, see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I will see you guys next time.